I just said thank you 50,000 times. Don't believe me? Why don't you play that back at 0.00001 speed? Thank you truly though for 50k subs. It's pretty awesome.
That's
now enough
big.
of us to
Congrats,
battle head on
Gunner.
against the entire
Nice.
population of Atlantic City, New Jersey. They
Gunner's
had that one
killing it.
coming. But content houses, the lucrative business model of the 21st century that promises aspiring teenage influencers fame and success with just one trade-off. You have to live in a giant fucking mansion and make TikToks. At least that's what it looks like on the surface. Silly spoiled children and your silly spoiled dreams. However, this shady business goes deeper than one might expect, with the same industry players causing problems time and time again for everyone involved, often ending in a house's ultimate demise. Today we're answering the question, why do all content houses fail? Or at least most of them. I wasn't going to get your attention by titling the video, why do 98% of content houses
fail? They all
fail, so,
though. I can't think of any that
back
happened.
off. Just, not off the video. Keep watching.
In the world of social media.
I'm going to speculate before Gunner gives us this scientific explanation. I think the reason the content houses fail is because the influencers living there eventually just get tired of being around each other and move out, and it fizzles out. A slow bleed. The Sidemen survived? Yeah, true. Okay, fair. But that's more of like a content group, not just like a central content house, I would argue. I'd say Sidemen transcend just a house. Same with OTK. Again, OTK is more than just a house. They are like a full group. Like, I wouldn't ever say those are content houses. They're just content teams. When I think of content house, I think of like Hype House, Team... Was it Team 7? Or was that the group that made Worms? What was Jake Paul's group called? Team what? Team what? Team 10. Yeah. Team 10. Cloud House. What was that really fucking stinky TikTok one that wasn't the Hype House? It was the other one. That was like the Bryce Hall group or some shit. What were they? They had like a whole reality show. Sway? Was it Sway House? I don't remember. But yeah, I think the reason all that shit fails is just egos clashing and they eventually just get tired of being around each other.
Say I'm an asshole.
Basically are saying take it until, a tragedy happens, which is going to happen here.
Well, that guy was wrong. Still no tragedies. Except for the fact that they still exist, I guess.
A little trailer action. I've never done that one before. I'm personally fired up. And me right now, I haven't even made the video yet. I hope Future Gunner delivers on that shit.
Fucking trying, man.
The idea of content houses is nothing new. Just look at Team 10, Hype House, Sway House, Clubhouse. The Sway House, unfortunately, launched and still tries to sell Sway pre-workout products as if the house is still running. Boys, I hate to break it to you, but I don't think people are going to buy from a brand that's based on you guys living together when you guys don't live together. Also, your fan base are little girls.
They're definitely still buying.
Energy bars, sheesh. With that said, let's meet Tyler Pauly.
Tyler, thank you for coming today. It's an honor to have you. Oh my God, who put that there? How did that? I'm so sorry.
I don't see anyone else here.
It wasn't me. That's really embarrassing. I hope we can get.
Don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel embarrassed.
He looks like Machine Gun Kelly.
We'll move forward.
But
like, bump in the road.
You were one of the founding members.
The parties, the trash, the neighbors. I left before that. Way before that.
Also, real quick, question in the chat. I noticed this tattoo on a bunch of dudes these days. I actually think it's a pretty cool tattoo, but what does it mean? Why do so many dudes get this forearm tattoo that's just like a dark tree? What is it? Where did that come from? I first started noticing it like 5 years ago, and it's still getting just more and more popular. Cock veins, I guess? Veiny cock vein. Well, like... So it started because of cock veins? That's how it got popular? I mean, I know it's a tree and shit. Like, I'm not confused at what I'm looking at. I'm just wondering, like, why... Who made it popular? But it does look fine. Like, I actually think it's a cool design. I was just wondering.
My household raised me differently from others' households. So it's like, it's a huge equation for disaster. Because it's just a bunch of us young, reckless kids living in a nice house, doing all this cool shit.
You made it to LA,
pretty
kid.
Cool.
This is your moment. It's time to shine. Let's ruin the neighbor's day.
Jeff and his wife live directly next door and say night and day they're dealing with large gatherings, loud pool parties, and non-permitted film shoots. Cars constantly speed up and down outside their home, and their Nest Cam captures the parties spilling into the street, partygoers drinking, getting intimate, and even defecating.
The girl who squats in the street starts to pee, so that's always good.
Well, that's not defecating, that's urinating. What kind of fucking clickbait is this? The news lady said defecating. That means fucking shitting. Not tinkling. I hate false advertising. Unbelievable. Amber Heard showed up. True. Dropped a little Amber turd.
I used to
literally 7:38 in the morning.
This could have all been avoided if they just invited that guy.
Years, and
Seems
said
like he
now
wanted to
every
go.
morning she finds used condoms outside her house.
Okay, even my empathetic party self is feeling pretty bad for the neighbors at this point. 9 consecutive nights of partying? Even people that went to both weekends of Coachella are wincing at that. But once again, you
That's a
understand
lot.
the
That's
culture
like
of the
biblical.
content
Like
house is
40
to get
days,
as
40
many
nights of rain.
collaborative TikToks and videos as
But with
possible. So it only
partying.
makes sense that the new
I got bit by rats from their place and had to go home early to Seattle because I was gonna get rat bite fever.
Of course, the house tried to deny these claims for PR's sake, but it didn't help when one Drip Crib member uploaded a TikTok with a dead rat visible in the pool behind it.
When we visited the house, one of the young men seen
Fuck
in the videos
yeah.
came out at one point.
Hey, a stunt
when
rat.
asked about the parties,
His
said there
acting.
had been none, and that, quote, we're just kids.
And I think that statement kind of says it all. They're just kids. They're really, really stupid, them. And then you also have the influencers and the content house manager that represents them. For the Hype House, this is Thomas Petro. For the
Hey,
Clubhouse,
Thomas.
this was Daisy Keach. And for
Hey,
the Drip
Daisy.
Crib, this was a guy named Devion Young. The sole
Hey, Devion.
biggest thing that can bring down a content house is having the wrong person in this position. And oh boy, is Devion Young a case study on being a bad pick.
We have a whole bunch of Karens and racist neighbors. They have threatened us with violence, which is on, online. The videos are out there. They threatened.
Can I
us,
see
they
one?
made racist comments. They verbally assaulted us, and they physically assaulted us. They've even sprayed water from a water hose at us. So you guys have to do your homework before you guys believe stuff that random people say on the internet.
Right, okay, so interesting
So we'll
strategy here.
take
Don't
his
take
word for it.
accountability.
A random
Instead,
person on the
flip
internet.
it and blame the neighbors for being mad at you about the continuous parties and actually claim that they physically assaulted you. You know how I can tell he's lying and his neighbors didn't actually assault him is that, remember, this is what they looked like. They're all over 70. If grandpa and grandma here were to attack you, you could end their life with a single karate chop. They even
You don't know that. Hold on a second. Let's not be selling Jeff Oken short here. That guy looks like he's seen the birth of the universe. This guy's been around the block. That man could throw some lunchbox hands, no doubt in my goddamn mind. He actually reminds me of my neighbor back when I was a kid. When I was a child, my parents had these neighbors that were fucking crazy. They always dressed in pure white, and they'd go outside in like a white mask and everything to get their mail in the mailbox, and they would only ever leave their house via taxi in the early mornings and come back at the late nights. But it was fucking cool. They looked pretty much like that guy. So that's pretty... It might even be this guy. So that's pretty nostalgic. KKK. No, it wasn't like white hoods. Like, when I say mask, I mean like a half mask. Like what people wore, like still wear out in public. That's what they would wear over their face. Like for dust or something. Because they'd sweep their driveway really often. Yeah, they're fucking wild. That's a cult. It might have been part of a cult, I couldn't tell you, but it looked pretty much just like that.
Sometimes they spray us with water.
Oh, okay. So they hosed you down with the nozzle set to light sun shower drizzle mode. Not exactly the high pressure crowd control hose I was envisioning, but okay. But yeah, no,
It's
just
pretty
call
much
them
the same,
racist
to be
and
honest.
don't show any video proof, but say the videos are definitely out there somewhere online. You know, you can do the research, you can find it. Despite Jeff here seeming quite reasonable.
And we're for them. We want them to get sponsors and make gazillions of dollars,
No.
but we're not for them doing it at everybody's expense.
So who is Devion?
What a nice
What's his
guy.
background and age? Outside of that, from what Tyler tells me, Devion was a management nightmare for the house from the very beginning.
You had mentioned before that the house was supposed to be ready at a certain date, and it just wasn't, right?
Yeah, so he was like, you need to be here by this date for the house. Me and my best friend drove in a Honda Civic, like a two-door Honda Civic with a 5x8 U-Haul behind us with both of our bedrooms packed into it. Across the country, last minute notice to make this happen, to be there by this date. We get there and he's like, yeah, the house isn't gonna be ready for like another month. So he slaps us in Studio City, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 5 of us in there. And then we all shared this bathroom for an entire month.
It's never a great
Jesus
sign to be
Christ.
having major house.
And it basically stated like, you're gonna pay $2K a month to be a part of this house, and that covers your rent, and within all of that, it's gonna cover PR services, it's gonna cover
What?
for brand deals. Like, it was just supposed to be like an all-inclusive payment for
What do you need as a TikToker for a PR service? On TikTok, you don't even have to like apologize. You just keep posting shit and people will just forget. That's like the least important position imaginable, I think. Damn, these guys just got hosed. Devion was squeezing them.
Your big butt hurt.
Hear that out loud again. They all already spent $2,000 on the assumption that they were going to be getting their own rooms just to show up, have Devion take the master suite, and put the rest of them in shared rooms and closet. This is a good first example of how managers try to lock influencers into contracts with no promise of delivery.
What was the delivery on the brand deals?
Nothing.
Hey, so you weren't happy? What?
I didn't make $1 from him.
Man, what the fuck?
$8,000 or so that I sent to him for rent, down the drain. I kind of cracked down on Devion and I had a conversation with him and I was like, yo, like if you can't do a simple like task of bringing me a couple $100s worth of a brand deal in this month, I was like, I'm not going to be able to pay you rent for next month. And he literally looks at me, eye contact, he's like, I don't know what to tell you. And I was like, all right.
So put yourself in Tyler's Gucci flip-flops for a second. You rushed out to LA just to share a...
Damn. So people will literally just give money to a complete stranger like that under the pretense that they're gonna get clout. Because Devion doesn't even have like a strong following based on the pictures Gunner pulled up. Man just like said, hey, give me $2,000 a month and I'll bring you fucking Heelys laser beams from your eyes and you'll work with Coca-Cola. And then he just buys a mansion with it to live in for himself. Kids do. Yeah, I guess that's just like the TikTok crowd. So he was getting $2,000 a month from all 5 of them. That's not pennies.
Tyler firmly believes that Devion put the whole house together in the first place to have them help promote his music career and other
Did it
endeavors,
work?
and not so much caring about the brand deals. Which, by the way, is totally okay. Just don't make them all sign contracts promising to be anything more than a roommate that just happens to be responsible for collecting rent. However,
let's see. Did that strategy work? So he got some money, but did he suckle from the coveted titty of clout? What was his name? Big Mansion album release party in LA. Swipe for more info. Just dropped my debut major EP prelude to my album. It's got 100,000 streams in 12 hours. Link in the bio. Okay. I'm assuming it's on like his website, iamdevion.com. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Okay, so we'll go to iamdevion. His biggest song has 500k streams. That's pretty good. It's Ice Gang. So the scamming, I guess, helped? I don't know, man. He has 8,000 monthly listeners. That's pretty good. I guess. He scammed a bunch of young TikTokers and got 8,000 listeners. Play it? No, I don't want to play it. This is the kind of guy that would absolutely try and get, like, DMCA out here.
Now, a talent agency is the head honcho. They basically manage the connections between the influencers and the brands they work with. Basically what Devion said he was going to do for the Drip Crib members. Typically, they work on an individual level with a client, but these content houses were an opportunity that simply couldn't be ignored. What if I could get all of these idiots signed underneath my agency collectively? This idea brought many new opportunistic faces to the table. Take Amir Ben Yohanan, for instance, the 48-year-old man who owned the media group behind the Clubhouse, whose apparently only known picture on the internet is this photo. The fuck? To quote Amir, you thought of TikTok as kids messing around and looked down on it. But
how did he secure all of those big TikTokers?
Were with the world, he decided he wanted to cash in
on
what
kids,
he saw
come
as
sign
a
with
modern
me.
day gold rush.
Swear to God,
he
I'm
would
not
later
Dan
have
Schneider.
allegations made against. One member claimed in response to telling him that they felt overworked, he said, "You guys are probably on your period," which is so bad. Imagine you send your 15-year-old daughter out to LA to make it big, and suddenly she's being yelled at by a 48-year-old man named Amir Ben Yohanan. Again, only picture of him that exists on the internet for not making enough content. Fake. And actually, her being upset is because she has a vagina. Look, honey, we got a schedule to stay on top of, okay? You're not overworked or overstressed. You're probably just on your menstrual cycle.
Thanks, Recep Aman.
But the content cycle stops for nobody. Now make me some goddamn TikToks. I want to start a new internet trend called the Amir Challenge, where if you unjustly upset a woman this week, I want you to look her into the eyes and say, did I really do something wrong, or is it just that time of the month again? And it should, I think, go over really well for you every time, I think. Now, while
probably a pretty effective
is
strategy,
typically
honestly.
in the business of Brittany Broski, who went
Thank
mega
you, both
viral
sisters.
for her kombucha tasting TikTok, was approached by
super
Ari,
sweet. I appreciate
allegedly
that.
DMing her, "Have you made any money?" I'll translate to malicious talent agency language. That means, how much of that shit can I take? Brittany ended up signing a contract with Ariana, and 9 months later realized that she wasn't getting paid from any of her brand deals. She would go on to say that Ari was withholding some $23,000 in fees, and that she was even squatting on her domain, BrittanyBroski.com.
What a good
one
name.
of the housemates.
Virtual squatting. Yeah, they're It's a very common thing. People snatch up domains just so that way, like, when a company or business might need it, they have to pay that person for it. So it's been around since the beginning of the .coms. I guess I give some paleo. Someone squatted on the Moist Esports Twitter not long ago, if you guys remember that, and then tried to get a lot of money out of me for it, but I just didn't care enough, so I just said I'll just make a different one. And then he eventually just said, fuck, fine, sorry, I just wanted money. I'm a college student. I was like, that's fine, bro, here's $100. So now we have the official Moist Esports one.
When the house ended, the girls did this to the walls on their way out, which...
Let me take a peek. Oh, that definitely violates their NDA. That was probably like rule number 1 of the NDA. You can't say anything mean about Ari. Come on now. And who is this? That's not Ari. She doesn't look like that. Grow up.
Now, Ariana Jacob blames this article for the fall of her business and losing all 85 of her clients. She denies damn near every claim made in the article, going as far as to sue the New York Times for $6.2 million.
Damn, she sounds miserable.
Lawsuit. Your Honor, people are only upset at me because I'm a visionary. And they're probably all in the periods anyway. Amir chimed in. Ariana Jacobs' Instagram bio now reads, kindness and empathy are number 1. Cancel culture sucks? Rise above it. Ariana, you lost all 85 of your clients. Do you think maybe the problem might be internal? That no one stuck with you or spoke up against this article's publication? But no, just ignore that. Maybe Tucker Carlson can help you win that fight against those liberal cucks at the New York Times while you figure that one out.
She did have a lot of kindness to distribute.
So why do all content houses fail? Well,
fucking
it simply comes down to poor picks of management at the house and agency level. Look, I contemplated putting a big section together with my prescriptions on the different content house models and how a manager could optimally put a house together, making it proper.
Real quick, is Tucker Carlson the guy that just made that video about dudes' testicles being tanned, making you more of a man? But it just ended up basically being porn? It is? That was him? Nice. That was fake? Was it fake? I don't know a whole lot about it. It may very well have been fake. But I saw like the trailer for it. They just had like a bunch of naked dudes tanning their nuts. There was one where I'm pretty sure the guy's legs were like over his head with his nuts towards the sun or something. It was crazy. It was real? I don't know. Again, I don't know too much about it. I just saw like little clips.
Here's Tyler's advice on if you're looking to join a startup house.
If you get the opportunity, personally, this opportunity put me in a position to where I'm at now that I'm like very grateful for. So like, you know, don't be afraid to take the risk, but at the same time, know what you're getting yourself into, know who you're working with, realistically.
Well, Tyler, it was great to have you. Thanks for coming on, really appreciate it. I do have one more thing for you. I need you to sign this NDA. It's just your standard NDA.
What? There's nothing crazy?
Just, you know, that we can use your image and likeness.
Thanks
that you can never talk shit about me legally.
Okay.
That a man named Esteban from Mexico City can also legally snap your kneecaps if you say my name even once. Sign right there. Yep, great. That's perfect.
Hollywood, baby.
No, we'll just photocopy it.
It looks like a pretty hefty NDA. I mean, I don't really have time to look through this shit anyways.
No, yeah, of course. Influencers don't.
Huge shout out to Tyler Pauly for helping out with this video.
That was nice of him to do that, though, for sure.
That he didn't have to, so please go show him some support at Tyler Pauly on Instagram. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. Once again, for the full, much longer interview with Tyler, it'll be posted to my Patreon for all member tiers to watch. At the time of this video's release, if it's not up now, it will be very shortly. Subscribe and follow me at Gunner Klein on Instagram to apply to join my content house called The Gunner House. And no, I'm not open to changing the name.
Another banger. Good shit, Gunner.